Good morning. Morning, everybody. Hope you are well. Let me just close my door 1 second. So I'm not disturbing Megan. Hope everybody is good. I feel quite good this morning. I got up early and did a fasted swim. So feeling quite sprightly. Oh yeah, recording. I'm recording. Thank you, Martin. Appreciate that. Okay. Let's get into the market, shall we? So, good to see a lot of you on today. Who's here? Aaron, Amira, Fonny, how you doing? Haven't seen you on the stream in a while. Griff, Martin, Leon, Dill, Silver, the usuals. Hope you are all well. Okay, let's go into the markets on this. What day is it? What day is it today? Tuesday? Oh, I'm terrible with days now. Tuesday morning. Okay, SPX today. I don't really like it, I have to say. Not a big fan of this 4 hours. I said a few days ago, we would expect it to move on from this area, and it's kind of faltering here. So it's not providing me with a lot of confidence. We are at this support zone, which we have had a reaction from before. We're probably expecting some sort of reaction. Now, again, if we go from corrective phase, this is a little bit larger than you expect, but again, this doesn't mean that it can't move to the upside. I think the best way to analyze this SPX this morning or for the next few days is on this daily chart. So from the daily, we're still seeing that price acceptance above this area. Okay, still at the moment. Obviously, that can change if we break. We're getting that 20 period curling up. So if we are waiting for that 20 catch up before continuation, possibly up to around this area, then I could see that. I would just like a little bit of momentum here, a little bit of push. But the 4 hour and certainly the lower time frames from the daily do look shorty. And if we do get a break underneath here, you know, maybe we head for another leg to the downside. So I do think it's in a key area. I think my bias on this daily, again, the daily is probably the most powerful chart. The higher time frames are the most powerful chart, should I say. And if we do possibly just muddle around here until something like this before we move to the upside, I think that would still be my bias, which would change if we break under the lows. So from a key area perspective, I still would like a break above here for a bit more confirmation on continuation and then moving into a bit more a risk-on intraday fashion. But it looks as if it is flirting with movement to the downside from this 4 hour down. So wait for confirmation of break below, break above. Until then, it's a rangy environment, which could be just simply price acceptance above this area on the daily. Morning, James. Morning, James. Okay, the dollar. Now notice as the SPX comes down, the dollar's gone up. So, this is where we have to do our risk sentiment, because there's a few scenarios. We break above here, which we are doing now, possibly dollar continuation from the longer term pullback, right? The other option is we take this as a kind of bigger impulse. We're getting a larger reset for continuation down. It will depend on what that SPX doing with that US dollar acting as a safe haven asset. So, I mean, this is on the cards. Yes, a break of structure here, 50% areas on the cards. My bias would still be, with how that market's looking, and with really the path of least resistance, would be dollar continuation upside. If we get a close here on this 4 hour chart above the 200, it would look pretty good. But again, we worry about this. Is this a larger corrective from that impulse before we continue to the downside if SPX decides to push? So, yeah. I mean, yeah, you could look at it that way, Griffey, right? If you're saying, well, dollar does look good to the upside, maybe we're expecting, using this as your kind of analysis to say the SPX does look a little bit shorty, dollar looks a little bit long, where you could say, yep, dollar up, SPX down. And I probably would agree with that bias with how the charts are looking. You know, if you're looking to buy the dollar, now would if your bias is that, you know, as we said, dollar does like the 50, even though it's not really giving us a good reason to enter. Price action is still in that curling effect and start to come up. So close above the 20 on the daily today would be you know, impulse corrective back to that 50, continuation in the dollar. I think that's probably your most accurate or probably the best way to look at it. Dollar strength, SPX weakness. Yeah, I would probably agree. But you know, it does. I mean, like as I said, this does look like if I was analyzing this from a Forex perspective or whatever, if this is any chart, I would say I would expect this to move. It's not moving from a 4 hour. It looks now that possibly a break underneath and we continue down. So, yeah. In a scenario where things can happen, we just have to wait for that market to tell us now. Which is why, with this euro yen, I'm kind of conscious of where it is. Obviously, it's been a great move, right? With it possibly coming into a bit of a risk-off nature, and we have had this very good impulse leg. You know, we look at where it is with that extension away or that gap between the 20 and price action, with price looking a little bit climactic, a little bit potentially exhaustive here. We know what the euro is like. And if we think about the impulse legs here, we're kind of getting something similar. So I think it's much smarter for me to manage this trade on a 30-minute anchor, 1 hour anchor, just capturing more and more profits, because we don't really want to be, even though I like it long, we've had that movement long, right? It can continue. If it wants to continue, I'll let it continue, obviously. But we don't really want to be caught in something like this, do we? We want to capture our profits, and then, you know, if it wants to reset again, we can look for, obviously, a re-entry down here for continuation. So I think I've captured here 5%. I think it's 5%. 400 plus 100, 5% on that particular trade, which would have been 10% on the new trade management. But anyway, that's by the by. And just looking for that to continue, and you know, I could look at moving up to anchors here. I'll go into that in a second, Martin, here, and potentially if it breaks above. Again, just capturing that profit, because we are getting up to big trades. GCAD and Euro Yen has been big trades, and we don't want them to come down and you know, take us out for 2 or 3%. We want to capture that 5 or 6, because that makes a big difference at the end of the year. So Euro Yen has been a nice trade, and I was doing my results this morning. And again, with what I do, I always obviously try and put a positive spin on things. So I was doing my quarterlies. So my Q1 was 5.2. So if I take away from looking at it from a monthly perspective, where it's like negative, right? You know, Q1 is 5.2. Again, May, I've got 6.5% here banked with Euro Yen still to go, which is obviously quite good. If I can get 7.5, that would be even great. But it could be ending up where I go Q1 profitable, Q2 profitable for what seems to be a pretty poor year. And it's just, I just feel like it's a year where, you know, you're kind of just grabbing and going and getting your percentages. And maybe it might be a year where the win rate is low, but if you can get trades like these two, like pound CAD and Euro Yen, that make a massive significant difference. You know, if you can get 12 or 13% out of those, it just may be a year like that, where if I can come out with 20, and you never know what's going to happen, right? I could still go and beat my goal of 33. We don't know. But, you know, it just shows that you can put a positive spin on what you may seem as quite a poor year, where you're still potentially Q1 profitable and potentially Q2 profitable. So always look on the bright side of life. Okay, watch this today. What am I looking at? There's only 2 trades, I think. The first of which is Ethereum. So this is where the aggressive entry is actually sometimes a little bit harder than writing it down, because, you know, this could have been an aggressive entry here on this particular outside engulfing candle, but I didn't actually see it. It's not something that I'm hitting myself or getting annoyed at myself for not seeing, but sometimes, you know, identifying the basing structure from 40 pairs can be quite difficult. So this could have been, if you saw that, you got your morning star, your outside bullish engulfer coming on high volume, you could have shorted it in terms of going with that overall trend in the crypto market. But I'm looking at this, obviously our cup with handle, V reversal in, and looking for a little bit of accumulation here. before breaking to the downside. I really like the idea of this. You know, I've been talking about crypto shorts for quite some time. We've got a 20 period catch up here, looking at a break underneath the lows to continue on that downtrend in Ethereum. That for me makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. Just need to accumulate a little bit more to digest this latest move to the downside, and then I'll be looking at taking a break. And also, if we come up here, I can look at an aggressive entry to go short as well around that area. Huge flash crash on Bitcoin. Yeah, I saw Bitcoin move to the downside here, right? So it didn't quite reach that area, but I think we were talking about this before, right? Where within Dow theory, that primary, secondary, tertiary, this is just movements within the actually secondary trend, right? So selling into any strength is still making sense. So at the moment, I don't think this is the low, whatever it was, 25K or something. I don't think this is the low yet, because it looks to me like we could be moving to the downside. So, yeah, I mean, crypto shorts, right? Crypto shorts, absolutely. It's got to be your bias. I've been wanting to short Bitcoin for a while. I didn't quite get an entry anywhere. Unless this comes down and tags this area properly. I want a proper tag, as we've seen here, because this area has been holding, right? I mean, has been showing some support, but maybe if I get something like this to go short again, then I will look at it then. But yeah, crypto market bias is certainly down, certainly down. The other one I like is Euro Pound, which is pushing up right now. From a daily perspective, I would need a little. I'm taking this as a larger kind of basing structure, and we're getting a squeeze in at this area, right? But from a trading from a daily perspective, I need more accumulation at this level. You know, I need at least another week around this area. Whether we get that or not, we'd have to wait and see. However, from a 4-hour perspective, I didn't actually want this to push up as much as it has done this morning. So this was my basing structure at this area, but I didn't really want this to happen. So, you know, I would have rather we'd have price action that looks a little bit more like this. So unless we potentially turn into something like this, where again it neatens out from our initial basing structure, i.e. digest this, then it's not something I would look at long, just because of that kind of move to the upside now. But I do like the idea, you know, the confluence there is good. We're kind of going with that trend. We've got that nice squeeze in, so it certainly is ready to move. It's just something I'm trying to get an entry in, because I like the idea of buying the euro against the pound. You know, in some respects, these, you know, we can see that basing structure on the weekly as well, right? So in some respects, you know, pairs potentially like Aussie Kiwi, Swiss yen, euro pound, I don't think are bad plays. You know, I think with the volatility we've seen, you know, something like euro pound, Swiss yen may be a good option to trade, because they are similar. So let's see how that goes. But those are the only two that I'm looking at, along with euro yen. I'm not in any massive rush. I know I took a USD SEK, which unfortunately failed yesterday. And you might say, well, Ryan, why are you taking a USD SEK short when you were looking at dollar longs? But again, my dollar long hunch yesterday was that, a hunch. So I trade what I see, not what I think. And we had that evening star coming from our cup with handle ABC up to this area, push through, steady state retest, increasing volume on that evening star. And with that daily chart, you know, with the last day here, it kind of gave me a little bit of confluence with that counter trend movement. But, you know, as I said, I would take that trade again. And you know, unfortunately, just was a loser. And I don't mind losers that I get completely wrong, right? So I don't like losers that go like this, stop me out, and then continue. I don't mind being completely wrong with my premise of a USD SEK short. But, you know, again, that's just the name of the game. We lose trades, we win trades. And like euro yen, we want to win them big. And this is the premise of all my trades. I want to have, it's not going to work out like that, but all my trades, I want to be big winners. So it's good. Good, I'm happy. A little bit more positivity moving forward. And I just want to keep going, you know, keep getting a percent here or there, and, you know, getting that ROI for the end of the year to hopefully plus 20. And if I do come out of the year plus 20 or whatever it is, I'll be absolutely happy with that this year. Absolutely. And I was speaking to a guy yesterday over Instagram saying that, you know, he was asking, do you think this is probably the hardest period of time to trade? And I said, you know, really from Trump. You had Trump, obviously we had Trump, we had COVID, and now we've got Russia, Ukraine. Like, in terms of a trading perspective, I don't think you could have a harder introduction in trading than that. So hopefully, once everything does die down and everything goes back to a little bit of normality, it'll be interesting to see, you know, how results differ from a trading wise on account of that. Anyway. Okay, anything you guys want me to look at? Oh, let's have a look at Martin's trade, NZD CAD. Oh no, it's coming up. Oh no, Martin. What was it? This one here. I don't know if you hit your TP. Did I talk you out of that? Anyway, it's still running risk-free. You let me know what you want me to do with it. You've got basically 1 hour now. Would it have hit your TP? What was your TP, Martin? Let me get the trade up here. TP 81135. Did we hit that? 81135. Oh, we wouldn't know. We didn't hit it anyway. Okay. I mean, I still like it. The reason why I said I like it, Martin, is because with that pullback on the daily, I thought maybe, yeah, going down to the lows where you've got your TP now would be quite a good shout from that pullback. Again, 4 hour looked pretty good. Buying the CAD, selling the Kiwi right now does make sense. The CAD has been a monster for quite some time. This 4 hour obviously has got another two and a bit hours before it closes. So either way, you can't lose on that trade, right? So let's hope it comes down. Hope it comes down for you. Good premise. I liked it. Good premise. Okay, so shall we do another one? Shall we do another one since it's all free? Yeah. Buy. I mean, yeah, absolutely buys to the downside. Absolutely. You could get a pullback. We know that. I mean, we know that anything can happen, but I would rather be shorting it than buying it. That's for sure. That's for absolute sure. Right, anything you guys want me to look at before we do the $50 spin? Remember, it's the 7th of June now. I do want to give away a 50K FTMO this month. So if you want to be entered, send me a message. I want to give that away this month. Nothing? Nobody wants me looking at anything? Okay. All right, well, let's do a, I'll let you type, Leon. Let's do a spin. No, you're not. Oh, stop typing? Okay. Okay, so I've got everybody's names here. I'm quite enjoying this game. I think it's quite a fun game, just because it's like risk-free. Amira, I've not put you in here. Do you want to be in? I know you said last time you didn't want to be in. Or does anybody else not want to be in? If you don't want to be involved in the game, that's fine. Remember, if you win, it's all just a little bit of fun. It's all just a bit of fun. It's like finding a £5 note in your pocket that you didn't know you had. I'll let you type, Amira. Next time? Okay, next time. And everybody else is happy being in it? Nobody wants to remove their names from it? No problem. Okay, anyway, let's have a spin. I hope I win. Martin, you can't win again. Not 2 months in a row. Oh, Nick. Is he on the stream? Nikolai, the big trade man. He's won it. Well done, Nick. I know you're not here. You're probably sleeping since you're up at 4 o'clock in the morning or something. So well done, Nick. You got a free $50 trades. I know you had some good ideas in Kiwi dollar and etc. against the dollar, which I absolutely agreed with. You know, it was a good... Well, I wouldn't say I absolutely agreed with. Sorry, that's the wrong way to say it. But I could certainly understand the premise. So, well done. Well done. 350. Hopefully we can build this account up. So yeah, guys, just basically for me today, watching that SPX, I think that's your best bet on London Open, watching where that dollar goes to really define your risk sentiment. And once you have that risk sentiment, looking at risk on, risk off, looking if it pushes on, you know, if the SPX does push on from here, looking at buying the Aussie, the Kiwi, you know, Aussie, the Kiwi, the CAD against probably the yen, whether you know the yen is a little bit extended for that. For example, if we look at any Aussie, any yen pairs, you know, it has had a decent move. And the weakness in the yen, for me, has been a little bit surprising, I have to say, with where the market is. But obviously, from a trading perspective, I don't really care. And if you do get a push below, so if we do get a push down, you know, it seems to be that yen pair, that dollar, has probably a little bit more, well, it definitely has a bit more ways to go from a trading perspective if you do get a break below. With that massive weakness we've had in the yen, right, you'd expect the yen to potentially strengthen up as markets do fall. And with where that dollar has had that pullback now and just looks like it's kind of coming the bend at the end of the trend for continuation, you know, looking at pairs buying the dollar. So if we look at let's say the Aussie dollar, you know, shorting, if this is part of your plan and you see that movement, shorting down into it where you could consider impulse corrective continuation, you know, they may be in good positions to look at entries or trades into those risk-off assets such as the dollar and the yen against the probably against the Aussie, the Kiwi. CAD is obviously been quite strong on account of oil, so something to look out for. All right, guys, I'm going to wait until I unbox all my lights. I just got a light delivery, so that's very exciting, as you can probably imagine. But I hope everybody has a great day. Remember to trade safe, Leon. Leon, I've never seen someone speak in GIFs as much as you. I think your GIF to word ratio is pretty high up there. Anyway, have a great day, guys. Trade safe, and I'll see you all in the morning. Peace.